Hello, I'm Justin, the founder of Shock Therapy. Shock Therapy has been around for 5 years, but we have personally been tuning suspension on off-road cars and race vehicles for over 25 years. We tune between 10 and 15 cars per day, every single day of the week. Our concentration is tuning shock systems and supplying components that improve the ride quality of your car in many ways. Not only do we work on the average UTV, but we also tune suspension for race teams and professional drivers. We currently tune for over 87 race teams in Best in Desert and Score. Our clients and race teams rely on our suspension components to allow them to win races and keep them safe. Suspension is a moving target. We are always trying to hit that target with every customer that we work with. Each customer's needs can be different, and we tune our kits accordingly. Our research and development never stops. We improve our components every single day. As the industry evolves and improves, so do our parts and kits. As of right now, we have over 100 products for UTVs. So when you bring your car to us, you have the satisfaction of knowing that you have the most experience, the highest quality products, and the fact that your car is being tuned specifically to you.
Coming to you live from the scorching Arizona desert, this is the Dirt Life Show with George Hamill and Cody Sanders.
What's up? Welcome to the Dirt Life Show. We are on episode 6. Stoked to be with you guys tonight. I'm really excited tonight. Like I can't think about like how cool it's going to be to interview an 11-year-old kid. Dude, it's going to be so awesome. Tonight in the studio, we have Vanessa Hartman from SolderWeld.
Hi.
And obviously, co-host extraordinaire, Cody Sanders. We do have a really great show for you guys tonight. But before we get into talking about the show, actually, we're going to talk about the dunes a little bit. Yeah. We're going to talk about dune etiquette. We're going to talk about dune safety. We're going to talk about all the shit that we carry on our cars to make sure that we have a good time and we can still keep fixing our stuff. If somebody breaks down, somebody gets a flat tire, stuff like that. But before we get into all that, I definitely want to thank our sponsors. One of them is SolderWeld.
Right here. SolderWeld. Woo! SolderWeld's in the house tonight.
Yeah, and we'll talk. It's actually the perfect time for you to come to the show because we're talking about having all this stuff on the vehicles for dunes and going on trail riding and stuff. And this is one of the things that I added in the last year when Lance, the owner of SolderWeld, had introduced the product because it's going to make it so that if we get the cars messed up, we get to fix them and make it home.
Get right back on the trail.
Yeah, I remember this one time we were out on a trail ride and one of our buddies broke a spindle on just a Volkswagen Bug or four-wheel drive. Not a four-wheel drive, an off-road Volkswagen Bug, and it was a bitch to get that thing out of there. Like he broke a spindle so the front wheel couldn't move at all. Mm-hmm. So we had two of the biggest guys. One of them was my dad, lifting the car up every like 3 feet to get the front wheel to move because the car would have been stuck in the desert. But if we could have had one of these repair kits, we could have welded it back together.
Totally. I actually saw something happening almost exactly like that. It was the first time I actually went to a race with SolderWeld.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So what I do for SolderWeld is I do a lot of their photography, their videography. Yep. Started out with SolderWeld, total indoor girl, never did any of this kind of stuff. So they invited me to go to the Pure 150. So I didn't know a whole lot about their products.
And the Pure 150 is an off-road race.
Off-road race. Yeah. Yep. Went to one of the races with them, and I had the great opportunity to see these products in action. I thought maybe it was just going to kind of be one of those things like, let's do some, stage photography. But no, a car had, one of the vehicles had broken down, I believe it was a shock. they thought that they were out of the race, thought they were done for the day.
Yeah.
One of SolderWeld's techs happened to be kind of 3 booths up, ran down. They
like on
flipped,
pit lane?
Yeah. Pit lane, exactly. Flipped the car over on its side, like lifted it up. You know, I was expecting machinery would be required. Yes. Threw some hot block on there. I got in there. I got to get some great video, get some great photos, threw some hot block on there, and got in there with a multi-saw and fixed it. They were back on the road in like 10 minutes. It was amazing.
That's
awesome.
Killer. Yeah, and even if you don't race, though, like that one, it took us, like, not even joking, probably 8.5, 9 hours to get out of where we were on the trail, just because we had to go so slow. It was like walking, but lifting a car at the same time.
That's crazy.
So it would have been amazing for us to have this in our kit.
That's what, actually Lance and I were just talking about that. So we had come up with this concept about 1.5 years ago. It was funny. We had this we needed to roll something out. We were talking about, I said, okay, well, describe to me, this product. Tell me how it's used. And he was telling me about, it's going to be one of those things that can save the day, get you on the road. So I'm like, okay, we're going to rescue your race.
Yeah.
Well, the more and more we talked about it, and the more and more I got to know the business, the more and more I got to know things like I'm excited to hear about Dune Etiquette because that's something that's brand new to me today. The more and more I got to know this, and the more and more I got to know the products and how easy they were to use, the more excited I got about the fact that, like, this shouldn't just be rescue your race. This should be something everyone should have on their cars. Overlanding, Jeeps, all these people that are out there.
That happens every
dune
weekend,
riders.
not just on race weekends.
Yeah.
It's insane. You still see, I see videos and pictures all the time of people, sticks going through their
busted
cars.
shit everywhere,
Yep. And that's actually one of the first things that we were talking about. It's like the biggest thing is stick through the radiator. And, this is a kit that you can have on board. You can fix it right then and there, and it's not just like a Band-Aid to get you out so you're not carrying the car. It's fixed.
Yeah, that's super cool. Yeah. Well, we'll definitely talk about it a little bit more so that we can get some of our listeners to put them on their cars, actually. So I think it'll be really cool to talk about all the Dune etiquette and stuff. But let's talk about our featured guest first. So this is one of, like, my favorites. Like, I really, really love. We started the show, The Dirt Life, because we grew up in the dirt.
Yep.
And Kaden Danbury, our featured guest, is 11 years old.
Awesome.
And he's already, like, a fantastic driver, a race car driver, off-road. Like, it's just, it really kind of gives me chills. Like, it hits home with me because, like, that's what I did when I was a little kid. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, he's literally living the dirt life. His family's living the dirt life. They go on, when they're not racing, they go and support other teams and help other teams.
It's totally a lifestyle.
That's so cool.
It's totally a culture.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's rad. And a little kid putting that much effort into his goals and just really wanting to do good, A couple of questions I wanted to ask him is, like, how he deals with different friends at school.
Yeah.
And different friends at the races. And then I definitely want to see what race teams he wants to work for. Like, who's his favorite driver?
I mean, dude, by the time he's 18 years old, man, he's going to have so much knowledge.
He's probably going to be super
He's
badass,
probably already there.
Yeah. Like, he works for some, like, really, or not works for him, but, like, helps out some really, really cool race teams. Yeah. Like, some guys that I wouldn't mind going out there and helping myself, and he's 11.
I kind of want to know how he got into it. I keep thinking about, these kids in school, they're in, football or soccer or whatever everybody else is doing. But how did he get into this life, and how did he become his passion, his fire?
We should definitely ask him that. It would, like, when I was in school, well, this was high school more, but I was racing dirt bikes professionally, and we worked out. I was going to public school still. Like, we didn't do private school or anything, but we worked out a deal with the public school to be able to only go Tuesday through Thursday, and I did all my physical activities like PE and stuff. I got credits because I was already training in shape and stuff, but I was able to take like 80% of my work on the road and then come back and have the teachers review it and stuff. So it would be really cool to see if he does any of that stuff too, because all the extracurricular activities, taking all the time off and stuff, to see where he's at when.
That takes an amazing amount of dedication. You're probably, were you doing, like, homework in the back of the car and, like,
yeah,
on
it sucked though. And I hate school. I can't stand it. And I was telling a guy the other day, actually, like, I went to college and got my degree in computer science, but I hated it so much that I went every day for, like, never even summer break. I went every day for 12 to 16 hours a day so I could get it done quick.
Just plow through it.
Yeah. And so I did really well, but I didn't want to go. Mm-hmm. So I just knocked it out as quick as possible. So he might have that same mentality. Mom, when can I get out of school? I just want to race.
Yeah.
So and one of the things that I want to ask him too is about their family life too, because having those bonds when you're in those situations, because you're always in duress, you're racing. Mm-hmm. So you always have something going on. You got to work on the car. You got to clean the car. You got to be talking to people, your sponsors. You know, like he has great sponsors. And so I want to see how an 11-year-old deals with sponsors. And managing all of that stuff with his family and how cool it is to be out there at the track and have all these things. Does
he have brothers and sisters?
We can ask him.
Yeah, let's ask him.
Yeah, so it'll be neat to see. But I do want to thank everybody else that helps out the show. We have Fuel Wheels. We always do it every show. We got that badass Anza beadlock wheel over there, custom blue from the guys at Goldie's. That wheel is just so solid, man. We've never ever broken a wheel. We haven't had to use the SolderWeld product on it because we haven't broken it. So
all right.
But
it is a rescue tool.
But they are really awesome wheels, and they just came out with a new one. I forgot what the name of it is, but it's a bitchin' wheel too. And we want to thank the guys at Shock Therapy. We have some really, really fun stuff that we're going to be doing with those guys.
I'm love
excited.
Your logo, by the way, is dope.
Shocky!
It's one of my favorites.
I love the way that Chase introduces it in the videos and stuff, bouncing around.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
I took a bunch of pictures of him at Vegas to Reno.
Yeah.
I just was in love with him.
High intensity Shocky. So those guys do an awesome job. They do everything from trail suspension to race suspension. I think Justin was saying they do like 80 or 90 race teams. Like it's just crazy.
That's
like the amount of physical shocks that they do. I think that's 10 to 20 a week or a day. I mean, that they actually pump out for everybody.
crazy.
So they definitely know their shit. So we want to thank the guys at Zolder Racing Products. I know I kind of feel like a broken record saying this, but some of the shit that they come out with, like, is just so insane. Like, I would love to go over there and see the machines that are creating these products. I mean, like, the masterminds are the guys behind the computer, but see some of these things come out, like, from a block of material, just to see them come out. God, that would make me so happy.
Maybe they can make us a big D.
Yeah.
At a block and we can hang it.
We'll get the whole logo, dude. That'd be pretty sick.
We should ask them.
Yeah, and then obviously SolderWeld. Thanks SolderWeld. And Rigid Industries. The Rigid guys, they make the baddest lights, man. So I want to see if we could do something fun with those guys too. They make those new 360 lights, and who knows, man? There's some round lights.
That was the that's the one
sounds
that
like
Brett
a party
was.
waiting to happen.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
360 lights.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Let's get a DJ.
Yeah, that's cool. Those lights would probably blind everybody though.
Oh yeah.
The cool stuff that I think would be neat to do with them is, you know, the Yamaha has round lights in the front. Maybe we could do something there.
Don't say it out loud.
So that'd be cool to get something going with those guys. And most importantly, we want to thank everybody for watching. We wouldn't be around if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you so much for watching.
Awesome, guys. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for telling all your friends. Like, the amount of positivity that we've gotten.
Yep.
We've only been alive for 5 weeks. This is going to be the 6th week.
Yep.
Is just insane.
It's
like,
grown.
It blows
Crazy.
me away.
It's awesome. It's
And
awesome.
I think it's going to.
I think it's because you guys are just awesome too. So
We're funsies.
Yes.
You're making me blush. What's my safe word?
Yeah, exactly.
You can't have mine.
So, yeah, thank you guys. And please comment, like, do whatever you can to help us out and to help us grow. We definitely want to hear what you guys would like to see on the show. We want to know what you guys have coming up. If you guys have trail rides coming up, if you guys have dune rides coming up, anything. We want to know what you guys are going to do, and we want to know how we can help and how we can talk about it some more. We would like you guys to make suggestions for us if you think there's going to be some cool guests. Maybe you guys have a friend that's
not cooler than SolderWeld. Right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be hard to top that. But
I think the 11-year-old
mistletoe.
I have faith in our Oklahoma. I have faith that our guests can come up with some pretty cool featured guests for us too. So we really want to make the show all about you guys. That's exactly what we're here for. We live the dirt life just like you guys, so let's do it. Well, you know what? Before we get into the SolderWeld stuff, let's tell everybody how to connect.
YouTube.
Well, Facebook too.
Facebook,
Lots of people on
YouTube,
Facebook.
Instagram. What were the other one we were doing?
Well, they can always go to the website too. We have all the archives on the website.
I mean, mostly everybody's using Facebook nowadays. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably your best bet to go to Facebook
or Instagram.
My favorite's definitely Instagram, but I think Facebook is most popular. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Stick to whatever you're good with,
Yeah.
whatever your phone supports. And I think most of the people that we looked at in the analytics are using it on mobile devices. So I did see some cool pictures though. People watching the show with their legs kicked up while eating dinner on their
so
big
cool.
screens.
Nice.
A lot of people buying the merch, man.
Yeah,
That's really cool. It's really cool.
It is cool. We got to do a giveaway. Like we're pretty much like out of all the popular sizes now, so maybe we'll do a big Belly Crew giveaway.
Are we doing one
We
of
got some
these?
big shirts.
Aren't we doing one of these
I
away
think
tonight?
we have a giveaway lined up for tonight.
You want to do that?
I think we should.
I think we should.
Yeah,
I
let's
think
do
it'd be
it.
cool.
Yeah.
Uh-oh,
We'll make it to where like
Vanessa's coming with prizes.
maybe
right.
maybe by the end of the show we'll have her just pick some random.
I think we should just have like whoever has the most clever comments.
Okay.
Whoever-
We'll do the most clever
Whoever
comment.
shoots the best compliment.
Okay,
Oh.
that's a good one.
What do you
Okay.
think?
All right.
I
I'm
think
down.
We could do that.
I think it's going to be random by the end because we're going to have to look through all those comments.
Come
Or
on.
how
I'm
many
okay with
how
it.
many pieces come in a SolderWeld kit?
Do a guess.
Do you know?
I don't even know.
Do,
I'd have
but
to count
it's
it.
also Googleable, and that's kind of cheating.
Why do you?
Oh, I just sorry. I don't know.
Don't
I
give
feel
it
like
away.
That's my go-to thing. Like
Fine.
when people are like, "Oh, what's the phone number for this place?"
I
I'm
like
Google
the
knows.
clever comment thing because I think
Okay,
we'll-
let's do that. Let's do
do-
the clever
Let's
comment.
get the clever comment.
All right, so you guys got about an hour or so. So make some comments. Tell us what you guys think. Oh, excuse me.
Chris Eiton, I'm big.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a
Okay.
big guy.
He's-
Well, I don't know if that's the most clever comment, but
It might be. We'll have to go through them all, but like it's subjective. We'll
Yep.
just see. We'll have to-
so one of the things that we wanted to talk about today was, well, I want to do it a two-part thing. I want to see if we can talk about dune etiquette and safety, and a lot of these same rules apply to trail etiquette and safety. And then I wanted to talk about what people carry on their UTV or off-road vehicle, a dirt bike, whatever it is, to manage and be safe out there. Whether they carry tools, whether they carry fix-it-flat, whether they carry a SolderWeld off-road repair
Right.
kit.
Yep.
One of the things that I think is so important to carry, and I had this in my chest bag for off-roading on the dirt bike, and I also have it in the back of the UTV, is a first aid kit. I think that is by far and above the number one thing. And I don't ever think that somebody should, be cheap on a first aid kit, because if something happens and somebody gets hurt, that's the first thing that's going to be important.
Yep.
And you can have it right there, easy. So as long as one of your buddies goes out on the ride that has one, maybe the other guy is a newbie and he doesn't have anything on his car, no spare tires, nothing. As long as you can cover him and you can think of that in advance, I think that's a really good thing.
That's actually what I was just going to ask, because the thing that I get from being kind of out and about is this sense of community kind of in the off-roading world.
Big time.
Is, you have to, I think I get the vibe that people not only pack a first aid kit or have a first aid kit on board that's good enough for them, they're thinking about like, we might need to share this with someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you make up a really good point there though too, and I think most of these people that fill up their UTV with or even their dirt bike chest kit, like what I had, they think about other people first, because it's like, okay, I have a side-by-side, I have a passenger, or I have kids in the back if I have a four-seater or something. And that becomes a responsibility to take care of those people, whether it's your own kids or your own family, or just a bunch of buddies going out, having some beers on the trail or something. It's always important to have those things in line before you get out on the trail. And not preaching or anything, but it always happens. Like, I've been out on the trail a million times thinking that, I can drive decent, nothing's going to happen, but something always happens. Always. So it's really cool. Like, what do you carry in your side-by-side?
Whole bunch of stuff, man.
Well, name off a few things.
One thing I grew up always carrying with me was like wire.
Well, there you go. Randy Sharp carries a gun.
Okay, gun. There you go.
My dad does
Okay,
too. Though.
It's not a bad
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I mean, so the first time
And
I
it's
went
not
like
it's not
off-roading-
necessarily for people either.
Yep.
Like if there's something, like if there's an animal
An
out there
animal.
or it is attacking or something like that. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of. I again, like East Coast girl, was like, I didn't know there were locusts in Arizona because I heard
Bobcats
rattling,
too.
and it was a snake
Yep.
that I was
Yep.
ready to walk
Yep.
on top
Yep.
of. So you never know. A gun is not a bad idea.
Yeah, it's well, and plus you can go out and just target shoot.
Here,
too.
yeah. California, no.
Yeah, not at all. So obviously make sure it's legal in your state. What else do you carry in the car?
I carry a big roll of like wire. That's always a huge thing.
Wire and zip ties, duct tape.
Wire, zip ties. I don't have any duct tape. I have the SolderWeld kit now.
Yeah.
I definitely have that going in there.
I always get the duct tape. I use the black Gorilla tape because you can do a lot of cool stuff. We've even actually put like had a tire come off the bead and wrapped it around the tire on the bead so that like you can hold the tire from coming off and still ride without riding on the rim.
So I kind of like to think of the SolderWeld kit as like you have your first aid kit for people. This is your first aid kit for your car.
Yeah, exactly. And who knows? You might never need it.
Right.
But the chances are.
Or someone else might.
I could already have used it a ton of times. And that, I mean, the racing stuff, clearly you could use it. So we always have one on our cars.
Well, desert too. I mean, here in desert is pretty wild, you know.
Yeah.
The things that you have to, you know, if you're hauling ass through the desert, there's branches, cactus, there's rocks everywhere that get thrown everywhere. I mean, even though something behind you, but you would never know that because you're always in front, right?
I don't know about that.
That's awesome. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, I don't know if this is relatable, but
hey man, you remember that time we were doing that circle track out here in Tucson?
Yeah, that was fun.
I couldn't touch you, dude.
It's only because he was lapping people. Then.
And then I got in with his car and I'm hitting corners and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like to the wall. I'm like, hitting the corners so hard. I was like, you're nuts.
That was a fun time, actually.
It was fun.
Yeah, we just put Hoosier tires on a stock trail ride in YXZ.
Yep.
I don't even think we had the suspension done for that.
Yeah, you know what? No.
That was really cool, though.
I had a stock cage then.
That actually teaches you a lot of throttle control, man.
Yep.
That was a fun time.
That was a good time.
Yeah, that was really cool. And plus, we got to learn a little bit that day, too. So, what is it? What do they say when you teach somebody, you're the one that learns the most?
Yes.
I had no idea it was that hard.
If you want to learn something, teach.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Exactly.
It was hard. It was hard for me.
We all went out. It's just a circle track, like circle racing in the dirt. And they wanted to have side-by-sides come out there so that they could see how the side-by-sides would work. And clearly they're not as fast as the circle racing cars. But it was really cool to see, like, the owner of the track came out, like, when we did our test run, and he gave me some tips and stuff on what to do and how the other people do it. And some guys came out and they rode in four-wheel drive in their side-by-sides. We elected to ride in two-wheel drive. But it was really cool to see that different aspect of it. So a lot of the stuff that we talk about on the show is off-roading and dirt, you know, going into desert and stuff. But this was a really traditional form of racing. Like,
did it kind of teach you anything that you were able to kind of take out on the trail?
To be smooth, you know.
Yeah, it was throttle control.
That's a lot of those things really help with some of the CVT-based cars. So, like, a lot of the guys that smash the gas or smash the brakes, they break belts a lot easier. So it's cool to see some of the people that were there evolve their driving skill to be better and
that's awesome. So
have an easier time not breaking down on the trail.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I learned throttle control that day, and I was going out there going, it's going to be no problem. Dude, no way.
Yeah.
No. And it was just slick. There were some parts it was really slick, and it was like.
Do you feel like, because of, you know, on trail racing, I feel like it's kind of when you're out on the, you know, it's not a kind of a circle track or whatever. It's kind of instinctual. You're kind of feeling it out, less so when you're kind of going around the same pattern over and over
I felt
again.
It was new almost every time I went
around.
Really? Yeah.
Okay.
And then when they would rewater it, it got hard all over again.
Okay.
It was constant, you know. If you think that these NASCAR guys and stuff don't get arm pump, you do get arm pump.
Really?
I was really surprised. Yeah. So it was exciting to be out there and do it, and a lot
it's
of
a completely different form of driving too, because you drive with the rear of the car and your foot instead of, because you only really do like just a little bit of movement on the steering wheel, and the car is fully sideways, but you're managing the steering with the rear of the car and the brakes and stuff like that. So if you can do it without hitting the brakes, it's even better. But you know, with the UTVs, it's a little bit more difficult because they're so underpowered. So,
yeah,
but it
relate to is like drift. That's what it sounds like to me.
Very similar, yeah. So you're driving with the rear of the car, and you have to be precise like that. And like Cody said, it's really difficult to hit the same lines every time, especially with the UTV, because they're not set up for that. So what we had just standard UTVs out there, and it's a lot more like the suspension, you know, wobbles over on itself and stuff like that. So it was really, really cool to see some of the people. I remember standing out on the track when I was trying to help people, and you would see a couple times they would go around the course and they would just do it like they would naturally. You know what I mean? Like they're driving on a regular off-road trail. And then I'll give them a couple tips, and they come around, and then all of a sudden you start seeing like something click in their head, and it's like, oh wow!
Well, you have the cone. Remember, you're like, I'm gonna push this cone far out.
Yep.
And you had to go around that cone instead of coming in or going too far out.
Because everybody has the same tendencies. You always want to go towards the curb, turn on the inside. So
that's a good tip.
It was really cool. It was really cool.
So on the flip side of that, I was actually just talking today. I learned recently, again, I know I probably sound super green to you guys, about overlanding. I did not know what this is, that you just go and go and go regardless. You no map, no nothing. You just make your own trail.
I don't even know that was a term, but yeah, that sounds cool.
I did not know. I just heard this myself. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Did you hear that from your hiking buddy?
No. So we were talking about the trail. Like, I didn't know about trail etiquette or anything. I learned actually a year ago through hiking about there's trail etiquette.
Yep.
And, you have to be considerate of other hikers. If somebody's hiking up and you're hiking down, you get out of their way because they have the harder work. So I'm excited to kind of hear that there's this dune etiquette. But then I heard about this overlanding thing, which sounds like the far extreme from what you're talking about, which is you're
I think a lot of people, I don't know if overlanding is, maybe somebody else knows about overlanding, but I don't know if overlanding qualifies as the same as just going out without a map kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, because, we do that all the time, but maybe going across the country or across a state and not having any idea where you're going, just having a destination or something and then finding it. But that sounds actually really cool.
Yeah.
So. Those times when you don't know where you're going to go eat or you don't know what you're going to do tonight and you just go out with your wife or your significant other or something, you don't have any plans or the plans get canceled and it turns into the most awesome night ever.
Yes.
That's what it sounds like overlanding could be.
Yes, totally. That's what it sounds like. I'm like, everyone you go out with a destination. I know I do when I hike and I'm like, I'm going to go see this peak. And then by the time I get there, I'm like, peak seen, I'm out, So I think this sounds like an opportunity to enjoy the adventure.
That would be super cool. I think I'd like the next trip we do, or you know what? Sometimes I think you do that at the dunes. You just go out on a ride and then you just pick it.
Well, how many years? You still don't even use a GPS.
Yeah.
Many years. I just got one that last season. It's cool, but I feel like I have to rely on it now. Before I didn't have that.
Yeah.
It was like you just go and you're like, all right. Okay, we'll get there.
My GPS has always been the smarter dudes that ride with us because they know where they're going. So it's like, okay, maybe I'll lead halfway and then you guys lead back.
At nighttime, it's fun.
Yeah.
To have the GPS at night, it does make it a lot better. It's safer.
Yeah,
okay?
Absolutely.
That's one thing I notice a lot with a lot of people when we get into the dune etiquette, the etiquette and stuff is safety's important. You have the option, just get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, if we're not, like it used to be, it's just better. Plus, the dunes are so busy now that you have no idea how bad it could get really bad. So you have a line of how many cars we had a couple years ago?
I think 40 or something.
Yeah, duning at one time.
Okay, so I have a question on that. Do you feel like riders have a sense they should have a responsibility, kind of like Arizona has the stupid motorist law about if you drive into that giant wash, isn't there a sense of responsibility on each rider to at least? You have to know where you're going. You can't go out there and rely on other experienced riders.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of newbies though, and the newbies are what makes what brings the side-by-side market bigger. So they're good, but you don't necessarily have to watch out for newbies because anything's wrong with them, but it helps to educate them.
Yeah.
And are most people open to kind of your feedback about?
Yeah, they are. They actually are.
Yeah, of course you get some dickheads, but there's a lot of people.
They've gone 3 or 4 times. They're like, whatever.
Expert.
And those are the ones you sit back and you watch, and you're like, wow, okay. Well,
and you watch you pass by their camp the next day, and their tires are falling off or something like that.
Sitting right next to the car or something.
How'd that work out for you?
Yeah. Hey.
But I think for the most part, most of the people that we ride with and the people that we try to hang out with. Most of them are pretty safe. I remember one year, this was 2 years ago, I think, when we were did that big ride. We went around camp, myself and my crew chief, Brian Lopez, and we tried to help as many people as we could just adjust their harnesses, which is the seatbelts.
It's huge. Believe it or not, I've seen it.
You would
you would believe,
you would be very, very surprised how much a seatbelt adjustment, just a quarter of an inch, makes a difference in your safety of the car. Yeah.
So people are just clicking them like they're I'm in it for the fashion.
Most people do it because it looks cool. That's one of the first things you buy. It looks cool and it has pads and stuff, so you don't have the regular lap belt. The thing is though is that those lap belts are made for safety for a reason. And if you don't have your harnesses adjusted properly, those lap belts are more protective.
Oh wow!
Even though they're shitty, they're not as good. But when you adjust your harnesses properly, then, you know, and most of the people that wanted us to adjust them was because they were uncomfortable in the car, like could rub the edge of their shoulders, or they were just like pushed down. Obviously, girls have a different issue, and then like so it would be hard for them, like when they're bouncing around. I can only imagine. And some people wear the submarine belts as well, and so it hurts guys too. So it's like you have to have all that stuff adjusted properly, not only to be comfortable but to be safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we did a lot of help with that, and people were really, really grateful. And I think what it does is it creates a waterfall effect. So you show them how to do it, and then it's like,
kind of pay it forward.
now I have all this knowledge. I'm going to definitely go help all my other buddies.
Awesome.
And the community really is a lot like that.
Yeah, that's great. That was good of you guys to go out and say,
We did that. You know what just came
this.
across the timeline was our video from, I think, last year.
Oh, really?
The safety video of talking about doing etiquette and just certain things of safety.
Yeah.
Seatbelts were one of them.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, seatbelts are clearly one of the biggest things. I think you know, we could talk about all this stuff, and it probably sound like a broken record, but you need to get a secure cage for your vehicle. If you have to use a stock one, it's fine. Some vehicles are built with better stock cages than others. But you also want to make sure that your suspension is adjusted properly, because a lot of times when people have accidents, it's because they can't control their vehicle. And if they can't control their vehicle properly because the suspension is moving improperly, you know, you usually have, and I know Brian Lopez has, different suspension adjustments when they go either on a trail ride in the rocks compared to what they would do out in the dunes.
Yep.
And that doesn't mean that you have to go get your suspension tuned. Shock therapy could obviously help you out, but you can still adjust it stock, and you are clear.
Yeah, I mean, I still have the bone stock shocks.
But you've done a fantastic job managing all that. And
yeah, I try to keep it good. I mean, don't get me wrong. The longer that you own or get used to whatever you're riding, dirt bike, quad, side by side, eventually you start getting a little bit more crazier and crazier and crazier.
Right.
And then it gets to a point where, like, no, I can't do that. I want to do it, or you tried it and it just doesn't end very well.
Yeah.
And you're
exactly.
like, you're limited. And that's kind of where I'm at, but I'm okay with that, because at the end of the day, it's my safety too.
Yep.
So it's like, do I want to go do this? Then I'm going to want to do bigger stuff. Do I want to do? So it comes down to safety.
So just like you were talking about with trail etiquette, I mean, you guys obviously as seasoned, you know, you're out there, you're kind of the veterans. You see somebody getting on, you know, kind of out there, and you're like, oh man, they're. This is not good. This is not going to end well for this person. You would try and say, like, yo, you're probably not ready for this.
I think you want to read them, because some of these people are like, some of them don't want to talk to you.
Right.
But some of them are really open to it.
Yeah.
So most of the time, if anybody in our crew wants to do it, we would go over there and ask them if they want to have a drink. You know, if they don't drink a beer, then maybe they want to drink a Gatorade or whatever it is. And have a conversation with them about how much fun they're having. Ask them if they, you know, would like some help. You know, we've been to the dunes 10 times, and we might have a little bit of information to share with you. And so it's really how you bridge that gap.
Yeah, I think that's a great suggestion. It's about, you know, you don't want to walk up and be like, yo, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, no.
And everybody out there is there to have a good time. They're really there to have a good time. They're there to cook awesome food. They're there to have, you know, spirits, do whatever they want. And it really is a shitload of fun. But you never hearing those bad stories. And all of the stuff that you hear that's a bad story is avoidable. So if you have, you know, a little bit more, you know, mental guidance or any type of etiquette, then it helps quite a bit, you know. And it doesn't have to be, hey, dude, you're doing it wrong.
No, because
we
all mess up. I mean, you no matter what.
I guarantee every time we go out there, every single day, every single person messes up at least once.
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about it.
Yeah.
Shit, I shouldn't have went that way.
Yeah.
Like,
I accidentally went the wrong way.
Yeah, I shouldn't have gone that way. Like, what was I thinking?
Okay, so I have a question, though. As on the etiquette thing, what's the most obnoxious thing you see people do that's kind of like, I can't even help that?
Just go too fast, and they just get out there. Well, I got to buy this because it's got this on it, and I'm jumping right in. It's my first car. I'm going to get in it and just go. And they think they can just control it. And
it's pretty much impossible. Like, I'm a big advocate of horsepower. I love it. If you could give me an LS1 and a side-by-side and just have 800 horsepower, I would love it. But the matter of fact is, I personally, being a race car driver, I can't drive a stock UTV without a turbo as fast as it can go.
Right.
There's no way I could possibly drive it as fast as it could go. It can always do more than I can do.
Okay, that's a good point. So
Everybody wants a turbo.
Even though it
Come on.
can go that fast, doesn't mean it should.
Right. So at certain times
Right.
you're like, oh, here's a flat road, or here's a flat drags. Boom. Okay, cool. But most of the time, you ain't gonna use all that power.
Right.
You're just not gonna. It's not.
And if you try, it's not gonna.
But those
end
are the
well.
people that usually are the ones that get in trouble.
Okay.
Is because they go out there and be like, oh, it's got this turbo, or it's this, and I'm like, you really don't need it. But yeah, it's great to.
But everybody's guilty of it though too.
Yeah.
He pulls up next to me, or we're going around a berm or something like that, or a dune or something. We're gonna race, like we're gonna do it. But I think both of us would look at the safety thing first. Like, how much further do we have to be able to do this? Maybe we only have one gear. Maybe we just have some fun real quick, but that's it. You know. So, well, let's get back to what you carry on your car.
Okay, so like I said, what I say, I had the.
Do you carry a spare tire when you're going out trail riding?
No spare tire.
I know a lot of people carry spares.
I got the beadlocks, man. I'll make it home.
Yeah.
Whatever happens. You know what I mean? That's the way I look at it. But I carry the wire. I carry a full set of tools. Usually a full set of Allen wrenches, a ratchet set. I carry an impact every once in a while.
Yep.
The only reason why is because it is expensive. I think you've even lost one on the trail. A couple years ago you did. And that's expensive. So normally like that, or tire plugs is a must.
Yeah.
Everybody should always, especially out here in the desert, a snack just in case.
Yep.
Even if you just get hungry or you're stuck out somewhere.
Yep.
Water's a must.
Yep.
Other than that, I mean, I have the GPS always charged up now. I mean,
that's a good point, actually. Like, even if you think you're only going to go out for an hour, bring
always
a couple
bring
granola
something,
bars or something.
Just in case, because you don't want to ride alone, but people do it sometimes.
Yep.
If you're close to home, you're going to go do it.
A lot of people meet on the trail, too. Like, you could go meet up with your buddies. Like, there's been times when we've met buddies, like, we're an hour behind it because we had a scheduling conflict or whatever. We had to catch up. So we're out by ourselves, and we have to go 40 miles down a trail before we actually meet up with everybody.
Right.
So we're solo for sure. So there's a lot of different scenarios, and I think, and you obviously have a first aid kit too, right?
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
So I think that's a pretty standard. I think the only other thing that I have is
fire extinguisher. I mean, I don't have one of those. I'd like to get one.
Yeah. I carry one in the back of ours. I also have a little manual jack that we carry too, just in case you need to jack up the cars. I didn't used to carry one of those, but we got in a situation where we had to lift up a vehicle and like set it on a rock. But the problem is the vehicle was tilted on its side to a weird way, and it took like 4 dudes just to lift it up. So I started putting that in there, just thinking, well, if I'm the only dude, and there's either women or there's kids or whatever it is that can't lift up this vehicle, then I need to have something else.
So what kind of little jack are you talking? You're talking about the bottle jacks that come with the car?
Almost, yeah, a little bit bigger than
one.
that. And the reason I bought it bigger was because I was thinking about other people too, and I didn't know if it was going to handle a 4-seater or a Volkswagen or something like that. And so it's basically the same size as like a jack that you have in your truck. For like a street truck.
So the ones that come with your vehicle as you buy them.
Yeah.
So you can easily go down to a swap meet or a
Harbor Freight
pull it, and buy a little bottle jack. And if you have to, if it's not,
and this one's 1.5 tons, so.
Right. So, but if it doesn't get big enough, you can always weld a piece of. Yeah, you can always put something over the top of it to make the distance smaller.
Yeah. Yeah. You can have your welding SolderWeld kit right there. So that brings up a good point, though, is I would like to understand what other people have in their kits too, because I know that like my buddies, one of them carries a military can, and he has a bunch of cool stuff in there. He's like the king of straps, and he carries straps, he carries rope, he carries all that stuff, and I couldn't tell you how many times we had to use those things, and we didn't have them. And then something else that we ended up using from one of the UTVs is, are you familiar with one of those big they're almost like a big bungee that can pull motorhomes out of sand?
There's like actually a company that has them now that's like selling them like crazy.
Yeah.
They're expensive though. I want one.
Those are super cool.
Yeah.
It's like a big. It'll pull like a motorhome out of the sand with a big tractor.
Yeah.
They're like, the ones that I'm talking about at least are like maybe 8 inches wide, and they just have loops on the end of them, so you would put it hook it through to like a trailer hitch or something. But they're really good because a lot of people they'll use just a regular like a tie down to tow somebody out with a side-by-side, and a lot of times that's too much load and they break, and if you're standing in front or behind, it can bungee back at you. But those other ones that we're talking about are actually have a little bit of elasticity to them, and they can pull you out a lot easier, and they're huge, so they're never going to break.
It's amazing. The more and more I listen to you guys, the more and more I hear you talking, and the way you're talking is like, I'm not putting this on. It just astounds me. I'm not putting this on my vehicle for me. I'm putting this on in case anybody needs it.
Yeah.
And I just think that's just amazing.
Well, what was that one time we were at the dunes, and then we always had that thing when we're out, we never let anybody behind. I mean,
Right.
anybody. If we see somebody in the dunes, always stop, because you don't know what's going on,
Right.
and you could be the only person that they've seen in the last couple hours.
Oh
Yep.
man, that's
And
scary.
you believe it or not, it happens a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, they'll be like down in the bottom of a
Yeah,
dune.
and you wouldn't know it until you crest over, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. How'd
And
you get down
yeah,
there?
and just 2 seasons ago, actually last season, there was a family. We were out pretty far out in Glamis, and there was a family that high-sided, and it was a husband, a wife, like a 10-year-old little kid, and then like a 3-year-old, and they were high-sided and they were stuck.
What? I'm sorry. What is
So
high
you
side?
have a dune like this. So he went over it and then just wasn't going fast enough, and
got ya.
there's
Okay.
no tires on the ground anymore.
Right.
He just high-sided.
Oh,
So then-
high-centered?
high-sided. So I see it far at a distance, and I'm like, oh man, like I'm trying to flag everybody, hey, let's go this way. And sure enough, they've been sitting there for a little over an hour, and they were like, man, thank you so much. And I'm like, I can't believe you guys are out here by yourself.
Yeah.
That's
Like
scary.
I
It
was
is.
I was pretty
Especially when
blown
you bring
away.
your family.
Especially
Yeah.
with a little kid like
And
that.
there's not one person that I know that's ever had a perfect dune weekend. Like, there's been times when I've been out in the dunes because something is broken for 3/4 of the day
Oh man,
before somebody can get back to us.
that's awful. That
And-
sounds. I mean,
And it's not
hopefully
because of lack of effort on their part. Maybe they had to go get a part before then go into town and then come back and bring it back to us or whatever it is.
Right.
So the community part, like you had said at the beginning, and helping others is huge. It's really, really cool and everybody does it. Like
yeah.
it's like there's one guy, he's a professional off-road racer. His name's BJ Baldwin. And BJ actually goes and pulls people out. It takes a whole day
Awesome.
on his trip and goes and just helps people.
Awesome. That's awesome. It kind of reminds me a little bit, I mean, of the boating community, I think. I mean, I don't remember a whole lot of it, but when I used to live on Long Island, it's like if you look stranded, you attracted a lot of attention
Yeah.
from
Yep.
other boaters. They just have the sense of community of, like,
Yeah.
don't leave anybody out there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep.
It could be fatal, and you don't want that. And there are people that you still see, far distance. You see a guy ride by that person that's sitting. It's like next person goes by, and you stop, and you're like, hey, oh, thank you so much for stopping. And I'm like,
Oh.
wow.
Wow.
Like, how could you? Like, come on, you know?
Yeah.
That's always one thing. You go, are you guys okay? Do you need water?
It's either thumbs up. They say thumbs up, you're good. Just keep going.
Yeah.
They say thumbs down, always pull over no matter what. That's a dune etiquette type deal. I mean, you're
Yeah.
out there, you just, hey, you don't always have to stop. You just hand signal. Boom.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's a good spread the word kind of. I mean, again, not knowing a whole lot about it, but you guys are educating a whole community here is,
Yeah.
thumbs up, thumbs down, like stop, help out,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I know people don't want to wreck their day, they don't want to wreck their
Yeah.
weekend, but, you also don't want
Yeah.
to hear a horror story.
Well, not this episode, but in a future episode, we're going to talk about communications, and that's like the headsets that you wear and the radio communications and stuff. And I was actually talking again to my crew chief, Brian Lopez, yesterday about it, and they sell different communication systems that you can just have internal communications in the car, and you can wear a headset or get speakers or whatever it is and talk to the persons in the car with you. And then they have external communications where you can communicate with the people in your group, and they can single out the radio channels so that it's only you guys, like you're only your team, and you can switch channels and stuff like that. And I've noticed that a lot of times at the dunes, the way that we used to do it was with hand signals. You raise your hand up if you don't have a radio, and it's like slow down or there's danger or something like that. And and then if you want to go faster, you have people pass, you wave them by and things like that. But with these new communication systems, it's really cool. And Brian was usually the one that would lead these rides because he had a communication system, and his dad had the same communication system in the back. So it didn't matter if anybody in between had communications or not. They had the scope covered.
Nice.
So,
They were like the
hey,
bookends.
somebody fell back, do a loop around.
Yep.
And what it does is it creates this really, I don't know what you want to call it, but it's like a nonstop kind of ride because Brian's dad could just say, hey, we got a guy that's going a little slower here. Will you loop around? And then so Brian would go over doing it, he would come back, and he would do it back, but he would do it in a safe way that we would just kind of catch up to everybody. And then
we would never reconnect like this. It was always like we would come around and they'd be sitting right here, and then they'd catch you and go, oh, okay, boom,
Yep,
right
and
with
just fall
you.
right in.
Yeah.
So it ends up working really cool if you have those types of things. Not everybody can afford the communication systems, but if you have people that do have it, it makes a big difference too. I've seen a lot of people getting the new communication systems, and I actually just saw an email come through for one of my racing sponsors, Rugged Radios, and they have sales on all that stuff now too. So that's really cool that they're doing that for dune season, getting everybody communicating. And it's
still essential.
Well,
I mean, even just the nonverbal communication that you guys were talking about,
yeah.
at least having some sort of way of flagging, emergencies or something that could be, a hazard.
And usually what, we'll do in our camps and stuff like that, and this doesn't happen with everybody, but you'll at least know who's a newbie or even if they're not a newbie, even if they're a veteran, just have a little meeting in the morning. You went out drinking all night, you wake up, you're hungover. Just remind everybody to be safe and just say, hey, do you guys remember how to do these things? Like, this is how you do it. Like, let's just go have some fun. Let's kick ass today. And then everybody just has it in their subconscious or the back of their head and go have some fun.
And then everyone can have some fun. You're not worried about
Yep, exactly.
I'm going to jump in real quick because I think you have some people that probably jumped in after we told them that the most clever comments.
I'm trying to read them as I'm going. I'm trying to read them.
The one that's going to win the SolderWeld off-road kit. So I don't want to deny anyone the opportunity to get super clever.
Okay, so we're having a contest for everybody that's jumped in and didn't hear it. We're going to give away one of these off-road kits. You want to show them?
Yep.
Which one do you want to give away? The camo one? The camo one's cooler.
Yeah. All right. Let's do the camo one. I thought the black one was cooler, but whatever.
Well, I like the camo
one.
All right.
So we're going to give away one of these SolderWeld off-road kits. Let them know what that has inside.
So the SolderWeld off-road kit is this amazing off-road kit. Super, you can see it's kind of nicely sized, so it's easy to store.
Well, it's super tiny. So, I have pretty big hands. But it's super tiny.
Yeah.
So it fits in anybody's glove box.
Got a little strap here. It can kind of fit.
Who's got straps, man?
So you can put it on the roll cage or anything. But
So this is the cleaning rag, which is the, nice. It's a nice touch, but it's
not microfiber.
Part. So you have your alloy saw. You have your multi-saw in here.
And both of those are used for bonding different types of metal.
Yep.
So
low temperature solder, kind of aluminum repair, kind of brake lines, exhausts.
And one of the coolest things about it is you don't have to necessarily clean the piece of metal that you're welding on.
Yes, so we have our flux in here too. I'm going to save the hot block for last, but we have both fluxes that come with both of them. You don't have to. The flux cleans, decontaminates the area. Both of them have a temperature color change, so that way you don't end up overheating kind of your area. So I won't get too technical with these, but I'm sure everyone will be able to kind of figure them out. What I can say is super easy to use.
It's kind of like color by numbers kind of thing.
Yes. Super strong. So yes, blue goes with blue, and then red with red.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, super easy to use. They don't it's not just a Band-Aid for your car. It actually fixes the vehicle. So you'll be back on the trail faster than you know. And then it comes with this little quarter-pound thing of hot block, which while it seems tiny, this is a putty that you can put on that protects areas of the vehicle that you don't want to get.
Yeah, so it absorbs heat. So
don't want them to heat
whenever, if anybody that's listening to us does any welding, they know how much heat that any type of metal bonding can do. So that's what this is used for in the kit.
Yep.
But it does have secondary uses though too. Like in certain cases, like we've seen a lot of guys puncture their exhaust, and it gets such a big hole that you're not going to be able to weld it up. However, you can put hot block around the hole, and it won't burn through a piece of plastic or something because it'll hold the heat before it actually gets all the way out. So it doesn't take the heat away. It reduces the temperature coming out.
That's an awesome idea. And it's 100% reusable.
Yeah.
That's the great thing about it.
Like
you pull
Play-Doh.
it right back off it. You threw it right back in there. Yes. I actually have seen this used where I've seen people kind of holding the metal. They put the hot block on there, heat up the other side. 3,000 degrees. It does not conduct the heat past the hot block. It's pretty amazing stuff. So anyway, that's everything that's included. And like I said, it's easy. The kit is rugged. You can put it right on your vehicle. You don't have to worry about it. It stores easily, and the tools are super easy to use. And there's videos on the Instagram, on the website,
I think I tagged
on
you. I think I tagged SolderWeld in a post today, so people can go to the Instagram and just hit the link, or they can go to your guys' website. I'm sure too, right?
There's also a wire brush in here too, so you can make your site nice.
Well, hopefully it'll be
really
easy for people to get these pretty soon.
Yes, you can also get them. The easiest place to get them right now is on the website, but
hopefully, we'll cross our fingers.
Yes, they're going to be available nationwide pretty soon at 4-Wheel Auto Parts.
Awesome. Yeah. So 4-Wheel Parts is obviously a really good place to go shopping for off-road stuff.
Yes.
And so these
coming soon.
Yeah. Well,
So this could all be yours. All you have to do is be super clever.
So you get to read them off. You get to come over here and read them off.
We're going to have to go through some of these. There's just too many comments to keep up
with.
with.
Look at Lance is on there. Flows like solder, strong.
So we're going to do, we'll go after, as we're on break, we'll have her go through them.
Yeah.
And then we'll.
All right. So we're going to go on break pretty soon. So start kicking ass and making comments because we're going to pick a winner pretty soon.
Let's start seeing them here.
So what's up, Lance? Thank you very much for having Vanessa come out and talk to us today. It's really cool. Hopefully we can get Lance to come in the studio too.
He is planning on being here at the end of October. So if you guys are able to have him on, he would love to come in and be with you guys.
That would be super cool.
Yeah.
Lance is the homie too. So
yes.
I remember when I went up to Draper, Utah. We met at an early bird breakfast, dude. It was so good.
Was it just that you guys were just up all night?
No, we were just broing down. I was actually up there for some therapy. Went up there and got some crazy chiropractic kind of stuff there. Oh my God, it changed my whole life. It was so good. Yeah, I mean I fucked up my life again, but it changed my life when I was up there for that.
I've seen on YouTube that does this. He will meet people at airports to crack and adjust.
Yes, the one I did, it was and I'm not going to get too far into it, but it was a body manipulation, and they do muscles. So one guy works on the top layer, and then the other guy works on the bone layer. So you're able to loosen everything up, and then the other guy put you back straight. And the way that they explained it to me is your spinal cord gets twisted, right? Mm-hmm. And or in your vertebrae. And so it's like a towel when you wring a towel out, right? Uh-huh. So the only thing that's movable in your spinal cord is the top. Like all of this is stuck, right? So if you unravel the towel from the top, then everything below starts getting straighter. So like your legs feel lighter, and it makes a huge difference.
That's pretty amazing.
So maybe it's just too much jumping the side by side, getting all compressed. So well, let's talk about a little bit of dune etiquette too before we go to break. We know what we got on the cars, and I think it's pretty standard. Other people carry tires and things like that, but some dune etiquette that I think is really, really important. The first thing that I always think about whenever I'm at the dunes is a transition. So you always have transitions, whether you're going straight over a hill, over the side of a bowl, whatever it is. You can always look right at the top of the transition to maybe 10 feet higher and see if you can see somebody else's whip, because that will change immediately where you're taking the rest of the group.
Always come up as an angle. That's the way I look at it.
Exactly.
I see a lot of people go straight over.
Yep.
And
always look
for a lot of mess happens.
Yep, exactly. And always look for their whips too, because those will show up before the car shows up.
Yep.
So that's the one thing that I think. Obviously, the hand signals and things like that, they differ between groups, and different groups have different, ways of doing things. One of the other things with dune etiquette is they have speed limit signs, but you don't have to be ripping through the pits and causing somebody's hamburger to have all kinds of sand over it. You know what I mean? I think it's really
beach etiquette. Don't mess up someone else's beach towel.
Yeah, exactly.
You believe it or not, you do get a lot of that. Everybody's out there to have a good time with their family and friends, and the little kids are out there. Don't take that away from them. They run. They ride around. They're chasing their brother or sister.
Yep. They lose track of where they're at.
They do, and sometimes they end up 2 camps over. So I seen that.
Or mom and dad will let them go to the other camps or whatever it is. So,
it comes down to just watch your children, watch what they're doing, because if they're on a little 50 or 80 quad or a dirt bike and you get sand car coming through, I mean, who's going to be paying attention?
Yeah.
Who's going to win?
It's going to be hard, and unfortunately I've seen a lot of that out there. I've seen a lot of bad, and it sucks, but
hopefully
safety,
we can start preventing some of that stuff, though.
I think it's gotten better over time, I feel. But at the same time,
there's more people.
People. That's the problem.
The Camp Razor weekends, they got to have 150 to 300,000 people there.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
That's crazy.
And it's insane. And they're all in like a 10, 15 mile radius, like a square.
Wow.
Nonstop. It's nonstop. It's like Vegas.
Camp Razor, what is this?
It's called Camp Razor. It's Polaris does an event called Camp Razor every year, and it's on the Halloween weekend basically. And they do all kinds of fun stuff. They have concerts, and you go out there and you can go to Vendor Row and buy stuff and just have a good time. Like there's tons of fun stuff to do, but it gets a lot of people, so you got to do that. I mean, it's like LA traffic kind of thing.
Wow.
So or New York traffic.
New York.
So I think. I think those are a couple things in dune etiquette. What can you bring up for dune etiquette? Well, you're going to go to the dunes in a few weeks here.
Yeah, I will be going in a few weeks. I'm taking a couple new guys with me. I usually do every season. You know, it's pretty cool to like share it with them. You know, other people. Hey, can we roll with you? It's our first time. I enjoy that. I enjoy taking people that I got to go do when I was a kid and have the opportunity to show other people what I know.
And it's that waterfall effect too, because they're going to bring somebody new.
Right.
That's great.
They're going to bring somebody new.
Yeah, and it's been really exciting to take certain people, and then there's some that you take that, you know, they understand it, but it's scary for them.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how many people are very scared of the sand.
Yep.
It's if you know what you're doing and you're comfortable with your car or dirt bike or quad that you're in, anybody can do it.
And don't be afraid to ask questions either.
Yeah, and that's another thing is asking questions. And the number one thing that I see a lot of people do is going straight up things.
Right.
Not cornering out, you know, hitting an angle.
That is something that people need to get used to, though, because it's an uncomfortable feeling when you're not used to it and you're like going on the side of a hill.
Yeah. It is very uncomfortable.
Especially for the person on the bottom.
And I see a lot of people, they'll hit. My favorite thing at the dunes is jumping into a bowl.
Yeah.
So you crest over and you kind of, you skim the middle with your skid plate and you fall in.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can get a good jump into it and just flop in there.
Yep.
And that guy behind you is not used to it and they're like, oh man, they get done. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, no man, you didn't feel that? I'm like, of course, that's the best part.
Yep.
So you get a lot of people that have that fear, but once they get over it, several people over time, they're like, dude, it's the best riding in the world.
Yeah.
Until this day, there's so many people that have never gone.
I want to go.
And I'm like, you don't understand. Like,
it is a really cool feeling. Like, it's almost euphoric when you get back because it's like when stuff that he's talking about, it's like a bird flying through the air. They can just like do whatever they want, right? And so this is so big, especially for UTVs, because UTVs are small, and so you can do that, and it feels like that in some situations. So if you get a good flow going through the dunes and you're in a good gear and stuff like that, you can move through.
Yeah.
And
it's like a roller coaster.
Do,
like surfing.
Tours.
Oh, so much
this
fun.
Sounds like I'm like
it's like surfing.
Like buy a seat
this got me so excited talking about it right now because that's like 3 weeks out.
What's your safe word again?
Another dune etiquette thing too is obviously helping people. So if you see somebody that's broken down, just go ask them if they need any water.
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah. And it's not going to ruin your ride if you waste 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I think what everybody's biggest fear is like, oh man, I'm gonna have to drag this guy all the way out. I get it. It's hard. It's sometimes kind of scary in that part too because if you're dragging somebody out with all that extra weight behind you, you definitely need to know what way to go and what you're doing.
That I would be the first guy. Like there was one day that we just had a shitty day because we helped so many people, so I didn't get to ride or anything. But that was one of the first trips that we ever had with the Yamaha YXZ, and I must have towed at least 15 people back to the camps. And I didn't get to ride at all. Every time I went out, somebody else was broken down.
Oh my gosh!
But
good thing you were there.
Well, and somebody else would have probably helped them too. But the next day, I saw 90% of those guys, and they were like, "Dude, we wouldn't have even got back. We don't have people that would have rescued us. Whatever their situation was, we wouldn't have made it back to our party. Whatever." And they were like, "Thank you so much."
Nice.
And like, are you guys riding today? Yeah, we got it all fixed because you guys gave us enough time to fix it, so we're good. And it wasted a day for me, but it really, like after I heard that the next day, I was like, shit, everybody's handing me beers.
Yeah.
Hot. Come over and get some to eat.
It paid off.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's the environment that you're in. You're camping, so if you love the outdoors, that's so much fun. Being able to ride, dude, it's a big money sport.
One of the things that I love the most is cooking at the dunes. Like when you get back to camp and everybody cooks together.
Yeah, I'm in it for the food.
Yeah, it's pretty good. We've done a couple of those big trips where somebody will cook all breakfast.
Dude, she would love getting photographs out there.
I would be super happy and excited to go out there.
You might need a bigger lens on some of those things, but you can get so much cool shit.
Oh, yeah.
And so, even some of the, like, they have what's called sand drags out there. Mm-hmm. So, like, everybody just meets up at this little area that you can drag race together. Mm-hmm. Some of the pictures that you can get with the sun in the background there's probably 10,000 people out in these little areas. You can stand on one side, and it's like this like fog dust kind of stuff sometimes, or like a sand rail is like roosting sand in there. If you get those shots like with the sun in the background, it's priceless.
Oh, it's insane.
I bet they're gorgeous.
We got Randy Sharp said he brought up something really cool, and it's very, very 110% truth. I've met a lot of people that said, damn, it just moved. you can make friends for life.
Yeah.
How many
Absolutely.
people have we met out there that live in California?
I
know a
it's
couple
like a
people.
big family.
We meet all the time. Hey,
Yep.
text out of nowhere. I haven't talked to you all summer because that's where we hang out, is at the dunes together. He'll text and be like, hey, when you going? Where you camping at? All right, is that cool? Cool, let's do it.
And we
always
might
meet.
just be sitting at camp having beers, and all of a sudden he brings a random person over, and they're best friends for life. Like with
Nice.
everybody.
It's awesome.
Nice.
It's so cool.
But I think that goes along with a long way with the dirt life, because we grew up doing that kind of stuff, you know, and to hear it from you that you think it's interesting and you like the camaraderie and stuff really means a lot, because that's what we do, you know, and so it's cool to hear that from an outsider.
So you've never been to the sand, huh?
No, never to the sand. The first couple of I've been, you know, with to a couple events with SolderWeld, Vegas Arena, those types of things, but never to the dunes. And it sounds like something I definitely
it's a
need
party.
to do.
That's fun.
Yeah.
We may or may not need to talk Lance into doing a SolderWeld trip.
I
Dude,
was
that'd be
actually
so
thinking
badass.
that would be a
They have some
SolderWeld.
pretty cool places in Utah too, though. But I think if we could get him to come down to the Glamis Sand Dunes, I think he'd have a good time.
I am 99% sure that Lance is listening to this right now. Lance being the owner of SolderWeld, by the way, owner, CEO extraordinaire. I'm pretty
All
sure we
around
could talk to him.
badass.
Pretty much all around badass. Yeah.
I can't wait to meet him. The last time
Yeah.
when he was down here, I was doing something that day, and I didn't get the chance to come over and hang out.
Yeah.
So
Lance and Z kind of have taught me everything that I know and introduced me to great people like you guys. So I've learned a lot from them. But definitely think we should maybe
I think it'd be a blast.
Yeah.
influence that a little bit.
Well, I definitely think it would be cool, and to have like those. One of our friends, they have they have a Facebook page. It's called Yamaha YXZ AZ.
He just said it wouldn't be that difficult to talk me into that.
There
it
you go.
is.
Oh man,
It's
we got a
done.
huge comment right there. But one of our friends, they own a Facebook page. It's called Yamaha YXZ, and it's a big group of people that do that. And they schedule. It's actually a lot of work, but they schedule rides out of the dunes. So they'll do it like a month before on Facebook, and they'll say we're gonna all meet up at 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday or whatever, and then we all go on a big ride, and we'll have maybe two separate groups, one a newbie group and one of like a pro guys or whatever it is. And those types of events and things that they put on. That first time that I went, like I was gonna go and meet up with all the UTV Wolfpack guys, and I had done that the year before, so I had a great time with them. I thought it'd be fun to see all these newbies with these new Yamahas, and it's exactly what we just talked about. Like now it's like we go all together every year.
I love that energy. I love the fact, I have to tell you something else that's kind of endearing is that both of you kind of are like, I love seeing the newbies. I love seeing new people coming in. It's not like this. I mean, there's other kind of industries, I think, in markets where people are like, oh my gosh, the new people, like, but you guys just kind of adopt them and absorb them and like, oh, we want to make them part of this tribe.
And it's not just the dunes either. It's like going on trail rides, and it's that more the merrier kind of thing. So I think it's really cool
That's
to have
awesome.
that stuff.
I love that. No wonder why the culture has grown so much.
What time we got here? It's already 7, so let's get Kaden Danbury on the line. Let's take a word from our sponsors, and we will be right back. We'll see you guys in just a second.
For wheels and tires with the most style, function, and innovation, look no further than Fuel Off-Road. From stock to lifted, dually to trophy truck, and UTV applications, Fuel Off-Road offers the most complete lineup for your next adventure. Whether a weekend warrior or racer, you can't go wrong with Fuel's massive line of trail tough truck and UTV wheels and tires. Good looks, better prices, and the absolute best range of styles and applications. Find us at fueloffroad.com.
Introducing Rigid's new SRL Series light bar, featuring a sleek 20-inch curved housing, ultra-wide forward projecting beam pattern, and a unique halo backlight feature offered in 4 color options. The SRL Series light bar's new optic combination projects light over 70 degrees wide, with more than enough distance to safely drive in low visibility conditions, making it the perfect lighting solution for most applications. The Halo backlight feature is offered in red, white, blue, or amber, and is wired independently from the forward projecting light. Instantly transition from style to function with the flip of a switch, making it easier than ever to own the night.
Hello, I'm Justin, the founder of Shock Therapy. Shock Therapy has been around for 5 years, but we have personally been tuning suspension on off-road cars and race vehicles for over 25 years. We tune between 10 and 15 cars per day, every single day of the week. Our concentration is tuning shock systems and supplying components that improve the ride quality of your car in many ways. Not only do we work on the average UTV, but we also tune suspension for race teams and professional drivers. We currently tune for over 87 race teams in Best Desert and Score. Our clients and race teams rely on our suspension components to allow them to win races and keep them safe. Suspension is a moving target. We are always trying to hit that target with every customer that we work with. Each customer's needs can be different, and we tune our kits accordingly. Our research and development never stops. We improve our components every single day. As the industry evolves and improves, so do our parts and kits. As of right now, we have over 100 products for UTVs. So when you bring your car to us, you have the satisfaction of knowing that you have the most experience, the highest quality products, and the fact that your car is being tuned specifically to you.
Hey guys, George Hamill here to talk to you about one of our sponsors, SolderWeld. Who is SolderWeld and what is their impact on the off-road community? Well, some of you may have seen SolderWeld's booths at the races, Lint 400, Vegas to Reno, Score and Snore events, and the UTV World Championship. You're seeing their stickers and sponsor wraps on more and more racers' vehicles every year. But who are they and what do they have to offer us as off-road enthusiasts? Well, late last year, SolderWeld introduced their new off-road repair kit to the off-road industry and sold out their first week. The interest was overwhelming, as many off-roaders already knew of SolderWeld's aluminum radiator repair rods, and now they were included in a convenient carry kit in camo or black. If you're a racer of any type or off-road enthusiast like myself, you're going to want to take a close look at this product. SolderWeld has combined some of their most elite products into one small kit that fits perfectly under your seat or strapped into your roll cage and allows you to make some insane fixes anywhere you go. How many of us have been in a race or out on the trail and got a rock chip in a radiator or a brake line? We've literally seen a top-tier desert race truck at the 2019 Mint 400 taken out by a simple rock to the radiator. If they would have had an off-road repair kit on board, they could have been back up and running in just minutes. The kit includes everything you need to work on dirty aluminum, stainless steel, copper, and many other metals. SolderWeld's cutting-edge technology allows you to make these fixes with extremely low heat and incredible high tensile strength, leaving you with a lasting fix every time. Don't be that guy who broke down on the side of the trail. Get your off-road repair kit today. Your friends will thank you. Welcome back. We got our buddy, 11-year-old Kaden Danbury. What's up, dude? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh, we're doing awesome, except for it's a little bit hotter over here than where it is where you live, right?
Yeah, it's cooler down here.
Well, before we get into all the questions, I want to know how old you are and when you started racing.
I'm 11 years old, and I've been racing for 5 years. I've raced a RZR 170 and an RZR 570.
Wow, so you started when you were 6, huh?
Yeah.
How did you? That's so cool.
That's so amazing.
And I text messaged a couple things with your mom, and it sounds like you guys have a pretty cool family. They got you into it, or did you want to get into it, or what?
Yeah, I've been going to the desert since I was 3 weeks old.
Woo!
And been going to the desert ever since, and started seeing people ride. I've been riding quads and stuff like that, so just been loving the industry.
Yeah,
Awesome,
that's cool,
awesome.
man. And so you started riding, like when you were really young, you started riding quads. What was your first quad that you got?
I had a Suzuki. It's like we still have it right now. It's like
What is it?
kind of want to keep it, but
Is it the
it's
LT80?
what?
Is it an LT80?
Oh yeah.
It is? That's what quad my sister had, dude.
Keep it forever. Keep it
I
forever.
might have blown that thing a few times, but
You may or may not have. I don't know. That's awesome. Did your parents mod it out for you?
no, I kind of kept it stock. I wasn't ready for it. We had like the limit. We had the limiter on it, so it wouldn't go too fast. Because whenever we needed to take it off, I flipped it.
Have you seen those? Nice. My sister flipped hers too a couple times. Have you seen those? Like the resurgence of the Yamaha or the Honda little ATC Trail 70s, like those little 3-wheelers.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like that's rad that you're keeping the quad though, because maybe you could get that all like doped out.
Yeah, we still have it. You know, the plastic's falling off. It's really old.
That's all right though, man. You can always renew it.
My favorite thing is
We like
to
to
do
call that
wheelies on
flair.
it.
Do wheelies?
All right, let's tell your mom you need to do a social media campaign, Project Quad God.
Oh, I think snap. You better hashtag that right now and make it yours.
Project
Hashtag
Quad
that
God.
right now and make it yours.
I don't know. Maybe Rigid Industries will get in on that. Hashtag Project Quad God with the LT80s.
Dude, look at that shirt, man.
You guys need to stop throwing that stuff out there.
Look at that shirt.
I guarantee
Repping
he's
hard.
got way more ideas than any of us do.
Yeah.
That's so awesome, man. I'm still like just astonished that you are driving so well at such a young age. So props to you, dude, for doing that. And
Yeah.
So
one
what
of
are
the
your
questions.
goals? Yeah, what are your goals? What are you aiming towards? What's the big dream?
My big dream is to probably be a good desert driver.
So you want to race Best in the Desert and Score, or what's the series that you want to race?
Yeah, Best in the Desert and Score. I want to be part of the SMG team. Like, be like be like a driver that Craig can call me up and drive his car for him.
That was one of the questions we talked about earlier that you were going to ask him.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. Especially because I follow his social media. I might be a fan. So
may or may not be the biggest fan.
I follow his social media, and one of the things that we talked about in a previous episode was sponsorships and how to get them. And we talked with Brett Carpenter, which is one of his sponsors at Rigid Industries. And he said to just know a little bit about the people that you're trying to work with. And what Kaden is doing right now is helping out the team that he wants to work for. He's 11 years old.
Yeah.
He's going and he's putting in all this effort to help a professional team, one of the biggest professional teams. So he's putting the work in like that.
It's an apprenticeship. I mean, that's really what he's doing. He's kind of earning his keep and showing,
really cool.
helping out and learning.
That says a lot for an 11-year-old.
It does. It really does.
There's a lot of 30-year-olds that wouldn't do that.
You are so right.
So, mad props to you for doing that, dude. Have you had a lot of fun helping those guys?
Yeah, I have a lot of fun helping them.
What do you usually do when you're on the team with them?
One of my favorite things to do, big part of the team, is like whenever we go to the Best in the Desert races or like stuff like that. I love to go up to my team and like DCU World Championships. I love going there because Craig's there. You have Mitch. You have all these guys, and Craig. I love seeing Craig there. We always do like a pre-run or something with each other. It's fun. I love having them on my team.
Do you do anything special with them? And for our viewers that don't know, he's talking about Craig Scanlon of the SMG Motorsports team, and he's also talking about Mitch Guthrie, which is one of his buddies, and Mitch drives for Polaris as well. So they all have that in common. He drives a smaller Polaris, but he's going to work his way up one of these days to drive one of those big cars, obviously.
No doubt.
The Romos are fast too.
Yeah, there you go. So the Romo Motorsports guys, they have a girl that drives, and the dad drives as well. So they have a really big family atmosphere, and it's cool to see that their family atmosphere is in tune with all that stuff. Well, what's your favorite thing to do when you're helping Craig and his team? Like, do they give you tasks to like, help with some of the pit stops and stuff, or getting the car ready?
I usually like helping my mom whenever she because my mom does a lot of like the tracking, so I like helping her with that and like knowing what I know where Craig is, and then I like to run over there, see how he's doing, like if he has any issues or anything. I like it's it's fun to have him on my team.
Do you think that doing that behind-the-scenes work or the not driving work is going to be a big benefit for your career?
Yeah.
I think it is too.
You're paying your dues. He's paying his dues, but you're learning. You're probably learning a lot. You're probably gaining a ton of experience. So when you are behind the wheel and you're doing the driving, it'll be amazing. It's gonna pay off.
Yeah, it's like one of those things. I don't know if you've ever had any teachers tell you or anybody tell you that the best people to own the company are the people that started at the bottom, cleaning floors and being the ground workers, because they know every single little thing about it. And that's exactly what you're doing too. You're cleaning the floors on the race team, and then you're going to be able to be the driver. You're going to know exactly what every single person on the team does, so that when you go down the racetrack and you have to come into the pits, you have confidence in those guys because you know that they're exactly what they need to do.
Exactly what they should be doing too.
Yeah.
I love helping the Romos after the races. I like to help out. I remember at the mid 400, I remember Randy. I had a sandwich for Randy, and I gave it to him at the end of the race, and I had it in my pockets the entire time because I had my vest on. I was just at the racetrack, and I totally forgot to give him at the pit. I was holding the fire extinguisher.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, oh wait, the sandwich, and he already took off.
Why is this so
Dude,
warm?
how fun is that story? It may or may not be a little bit soggy, but you can still have a sandwich.
It might be a little warm.
Well, do you mind telling everybody what class you race and some of your sponsors that you have?
Yeah, I raced the RZR 170 and RZR 570. It's Polaris. It's fun. It's very fast. I've been racing the 170 for a long time. This year I started the 570. But some of the sponsors that help me out are Polaris Razor, Magnum Off-Road, Walker Evans, SMG. I have Rigid Industries, which helps me out a lot. Super ACB, Benchmark, GBC, Shreddy, Gates Belts. I have a lot. I'm still going.
Keep going, dude.
Keep going, man.
I have PRP seats. I have Proline wraps, and I have NCY Motorsports, K1 Race Gear, Polaris Engineering Industries, Rugged Radios, Aluminum Craze, Big Gun Exhaust, H3R Performance, and my mom and dad, which are Danbury Racing, that help me out, and all the other companies that help me out.
Well,
I feel like Lance would yell at me if I didn't say that we're going to have a kit for you.
Dude.
Yeah.
Get your off-road kit out to you next,
Thank you.
because SolderWeld needs to make sure that we have a kit for
Hell
you.
yeah.
Keep your ride
That's
safe.
Thank you.
That's awesome, dude. Well, just the fact that he has, we'll not call them sponsors. We're going to call these people partners and people that
How
are
about investors?
into it. Can you imagine being an 11-year-old and having a professional racing operation that has that much ability to get
It's legit.
that is so
I'm
freaking
so
cool.
spoiled, it's insane.
You know what? You're not spoiled, though, man, because you earned it.
Yeah. Just
You'd be
keep
spoiled
doing
if
what
you
you're
didn't
doing.
earn it.
I worked hard and got 4 championships. I'm happy with it.
Make sure you give yourself a pat on the back for doing good. Don't go out there and be a jerk, but make sure you're telling yourself that you're doing good, because that's really awesome that you are, dude.
Thank you.
And when your parents tell you to clean up the dog mess, get out there and do it, man. Say, no problem, guys. I got this.
Yeah, you keep up the hustle, man. You're earning your keep, and you're earning your place, and people are going to invest in you because you're investing in them.
Hey, how about this, though? Did you listen to the interview with Miles Cheek?
Yeah, we listened to it.
Do you want to cook your parents dinner, too?
Dude.
Yeah.
Like
Dude,
all
for
week.
real. Like, I want to put on like a taco battle with Miles.
Oh, I'm
Well,
getting
let's
in on
ask
that.
him
Can I get in on that? 'Cause
what's
that's
your
a good
favorite
bargain.
what's your favorite meal that you like to cook for yourself? What are you good at
Like
making?
macaroni and cheese. Like, what do you
Hot
like?
dog, chili cheese dog,
I'm a fan of burgers.
burgers.
All right, when you
Dude.
put
I
your
got
burger,
jealous
all right,
whenever Miles talked about tacos.
I got to know your burger toppings, though. Like, are you a burger purist, or do you like to get fancy?
What do you put on your burgers?
Meat
Yeah,
and bread.
I like special sauce. I like pretty much everything on
Everything.
it.
Oh, dang. So what if we had, like, I'll do a taco battle with Miles and he can do a burger battle with Miles? I mean, chances are we're going to lose because Miles is a badass, but still, we can at least like try to talk it up and be all cool about it right now.
I remember at Camp Razor, I got an autograph from Miles Cheeks because he was signing autographs.
Sweet.
I had it over there. Oh wait, it was the phone.
Nice.
Right on.
Right over there.
Well,
That's awesome.
since we're talking about Miles, who's your favorite driver other than Craig Scanlon?
Cody Bradbury and RJ Anderson, and I also like Andy McMillan.
Yeah,
And
those are all really good dudes.
What about this guy? You like this guy or no?
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah. One of the things I take from Andy McMillan is I have this picture, and it says, "Failure to prepare is preparing to fail." So
Ooh, I like that.
That is a good.
So true.
That's
I like to have it
nice.
on my desk. And
You know what?
It's nice.
We were talking about getting prepared, like what we have on our cars to go to the dunes or go on trail rides and
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm watching it.
And so that's pretty cool because that goes right along with that. If we don't prepare to go on a trail ride, we're going to fail and we're going to have to push that
True.
sucker back.
Very
So,
true.
man, that is so awesome that, like, I knew that this was going to be a cool interview because I was been stoked to talk to you for a long time. But one of the things that I wanted to ask you was how it is with, like, clearly you have a very good family, but how is it juggling all that family life and school and racing all together?
So someone actually just asked that question on Facebook too.
Oh, well, hey.
Yeah, perfect timing.
There you go. Dusty Tierra. What does he do for school? Does he miss a lot? How does it make it up for the days you missed?
For school, I do miss, but we try not missing a lot of school, but
You still go to public school, right?
I go to private.
Okay.
I
Well,
do-
you still
I
go
go
to a school. You don't do school on the road.
No. No, I sometimes they'll give me work on the road, but yeah, we tutor. I have to tutor because I'm dyslexic, so I work extra hard after school.
Oh,
So,
that's awesome.
That's pretty
like,
amazing that he overcomes all that. That's a challenge.
Yeah,
man.
I'm tutoring tomorrow, so
Uh-oh.
I don't like to go to tutoring, but it helps me. So
Kind of like me. I freaking hate school, but I just try to bust it out as hard as I can.
part of life, I have to get through it.
Yeah, exactly. And it ain't going to stop anytime soon. You're only 11, so just keep working hard.
Yeah.
Before you know it, it'll be over with, and you're gonna wish you can go back. Trust me.
What's your favorite?
Says, I don't quite believe it yet.
Yeah.
What's your favorite subject at school right now?
Sorry, what did you say?
What's your favorite subject? Like, you like math? Like, what's your?
Oh, my favorite subject is probably science.
Yeah. So you.
With my favorite teacher, her name is Mrs. Lamb, and my favorite part of science is she always shows us her cat. We have the Daily Jeffrey.
Oh, right on. See, whatever you do to
Oh
connect, right?
man, dude.
What's so what are some of the things that you've linked between school and the things that you're learning right now and being in the off-road? So like when you go to the races and you're like driving down the track, do you think of anything that you've learned in school, or when you're working on a car for Craig, or when you're doing things like that? Have you translated those back and forth?
I can kind of like school and racing. Those, like, one thing I know that I learned from racing that goes to school is that if you practice makes perfect, the more you like get better at it, the better you're gonna do.
Yep.
And I want to be the best. I want to have great grades, and I just want to push hard and get everything done.
That's awesome. That's a really good mentality to have too. And you know what? That's going to go a long way with your sponsors too, because if you're smart, you can talk well, and you can look good representing their companies. It's going to make you stand out a lot better.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing to have. And you know what's funny too is you won't know this maybe for a few years, but you'll start seeing that some of that stuff in school will translate very, very well into the racing stuff. You know, math is a huge thing.
It's not really easy, but I try my hardest. I want to do my best, and I like getting my stuff and doing good and having that good feeling that I did good.
It's awesome.
That's because you're shooting for goals. Like, well, what are some of your goals right now? Like, give us 2 of your goals for like the 2020 season, and then give us 2 goals for like 10 years from now.
Some goals.
Yeah, like, do you want to win a championship this year? Do you want to win the UTV World Championship? Like, what are some goals this year?
This year, my goal is to be able, because right now in the 570, I'm second in points. And right now my goal is to get back up there because last race we were very competitive. We were all on each other. Our cars are just as fast. So I want to make sure I'm ready. My goal is to get the championship for this year. I'll be super happy because I wasn't third and I made my points back up last race and got second last race. So I made my points back up, and my goal is to get the championship.
Yeah, just be as consistent as possible.
Yeah. The 170, we've been having a little bit of issues. We figured it out. We figured them out, and I think it's dialed now. So I think we're behind, but I have a chance to get back up to 5th if I try hard.
That's cool, man. And then what do you do outside of sponsorships or outside of racing to help with your sponsors? Do you go to events and stuff?
Yeah, we go to events. My favorite one is Camp Razor. That's probably my favorite one so far.
Yeah, we were talking about Camp Razor earlier.
I like the sand show is probably my favorite.
Yeah, I gotta make it. I gotta make it out there, buddy. Next year I'm going to the sand show.
Cody really wants to. I don't think he's ever been there.
I've been wanting to go for a long time, and I could never go. And next year I'm making it happen.
Where's the sand show?
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's in California.
In California.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's in Pomona or something, isn't it?
I remember going from Ocotillo Wells, which is right next to it, because we stay over there for a little bit, and then we go to Camp Razor, and then we come back.
Nice.
So,
yeah.
Where are you guys staying in Camp Razor?
Usually we camp.
Do you guys stay by the vendors, or do you guys stay in a wash?
Oh, we try going around our Polaris people.
Yeah. Usually in the vendor
We try
room.
going around there. Last year we tried going with our sponsors. We went to Shelby.
Cool.
Last year, and I can't remember who else, but I remember we had a few people.
Well,
It was fun.
Kaden has a lot of very high influential friends.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know that, but he's got a lot of cool friends. And it really makes a big difference when you have a racing program like that, when you can lean on people, you can ask them questions. Like when we were talking about me, when I got into side-by-side racing, I was pretty new at it. I was obviously did motocross and stuff, but I had the UTV Wolfpack guys to lean on. And that was a huge, huge, huge help for the stuff that I did. And Kaden being so young and being so good at racing the little cars, he's going to have people to lean on until he gets up to the pro class.
Yeah.
That's really cool that you're making all those friends and putting all the work back into it.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to you guys, and George, we've been following you guys for a long time, and we've always been updated on your stories. We were super sad whenever you crashed last E2 World Championship.
Well,
So
thanks, man.
I love seeing your updates, on how you're doing. That I remember seeing those updates.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That's cool that you guys get to watch that stuff. I'm pretty proud of myself too, man. I told you to give yourself a pat on the back. I'm gonna give myself one too.
I only like him a little bit. I promise. It's like that much.
But it's cool
It's
because
kind of awesome.
I'm using that same mentality that you're learning right now and that you're doing right now. I'm using that to get better, I would love to get back on the side-by-side and go for a trail ride. I'd love to go to Camp Razor and stuff. I'm not quite there yet. I still got to do a little bit more work with my eyes and stuff, but shoot, one of these days I'm going to be able to go out there and rip it up with you.
I feel like I'm so inspired right now. I can't even.
Yeah, buddy, I'll be out there. I'll be out in Wash 6, so maybe I'll cruise by and see if I can find you guys.
Are you going to take any of your Razors to Camp Razor, or are you just going to take a 4-seater or something?
I'm gonna take my Razor. I remember last year we took my Razor, but it had some issues because at that time we were dealing with some arm issues, our axles kept on popping out. So
You're 570.
Yeah, it would pop out, and then we noticed we got it. And then we noticed that my diff was worn out. So then we bought a new diff and it fixed. So
Do you work on your own car too?
On that car just to get it running.
Well, that's okay though, because you probably learned a lot. Do you work on the car yourself too?
Yeah, I work on most of it. I can't do the transmission. I'll eventually get there, but I'm trying to get there.
Yeah, that's cool. Who teaches you? Your dad and your mom?
my dad teaches me a lot.
He's a pretty good mechanic?
Yeah, my dad's really good. Shout out to my dad.
Shouts out to Dad.
Props to Dad.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad that you're learning that stuff too. Once again, that math and all that cool stuff that you're learning right now is going to go really far when you get older and are able to race in the pro class.
Yeah, I asked my buddy Jordan. He races like Ultra 4s, and he gave me some advice, and he says a lot of computer, learn how to use a computer very well.
Yep.
And math, because that's key to racing.
Yep.
And that's some of the stuff I tried doing good in all of them, but those ones I've got really good at. I'm still learning, but I'm pretty proud of how I'm doing on those right now.
Yeah, that's good. It's kind of the nature of the beast, though, too. Like, I remember when I first got a Yamaha YXZ, I had to build a special shifter because I couldn't shift with the clutch, and I put the clutch and everything. And I'm not an engineer, but I know math and computers pretty well. And I ended up designing my whole shift mechanism, the linkage, all of the parts that connect to the transmission, the clutch, the fluid routing, and everything. And I designed it all by myself. It was really, really cool.
That's amazing.
Good job.
Yeah, so all those things that you're learning right now, you're going to be able to do that kind of stuff in the future too.
Mhm.
How fun would that be to make something really
I'm
cool?
learning as I go.
Yeah, but that's the way that it's best sometimes, is to learn as you go.
Yeah, school. You know, most kids don't like school.
You have a lot of
once you start applying it to what you love, then it's going to be a little less.
Yeah, then it's going to go smoother.
Do you have a lot of friends
I've
at
been
school?
going to the same school since preschool.
Oh, thanks.
wow.
So you still have all the same
Because
friends
the
then?
preschool's right next door. They're literally connected. My class is right above preschool.
Wow.
We're super close.
I have to tell you, I admire your dedication for somebody so young. I have a hard time believing that you're 11 right now.
How well he talks.
Yeah. You're well-spoken, and you clearly are passionate about
the
what
classes aren't really big at my school. 16 kids is in my class. But in 3rd grade, I had 30-something kids, and I thought that was just too much for me.
Yeah.
And I'm how can you do it in public schools? Because there's at some high schools there's thousands of kids there. It's how do you deal with that?
Well, Nick, we got a comment for you, buddy. Nick Farmer, racing has a lot to do with geometry. Keep it up. Machining a CNC machine, or how does he say that? Machining and CNC machines. So
yeah, fabrication.
Everything's fabrication of doing things.
Do.
Yeah.
You like engineering? You like engineering,
Sorry,
Kaden?
what did you say?
You like engineering?
Oh yeah, I like building stuff. Recently we built a ramp, and I love to build stuff. So if there's any scrap wood, I think of something.
Did you have Legos when you were even smaller?
Oh yeah, I have a ton of Legos.
Dude,
I have 4 or 5 gallon buckets of Legos.
Man.
Dude, I think I got you beat, son.
So many.
I think I might have Kaden beat. I got Legos that are in these huge bins.
The bobbing for apple bins.
Those huge ones, yeah. I got
We used to have a basket full, and it was overflowing, so we're we need to get buckets.
Dude, Legos are the
I feel
jam.
Lego might be the predictive, are you going to be a racer thing now?
Legos are the jam, though, don't you think?
Yeah, Legos are pretty fun.
I love those.
Building. I tried building cars with shocks.
Ooh.
I've built it one before, but then it got destroyed. So I'm trying to do it again because I don't know how I did the last one.
Well, hey, if you don't want to play Legos, you can go put some shocks on your real race car, too.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, dude. Is there anything else that you want to say or that you want to talk about with your family and stuff?
Just thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be on here.
Yeah,
glad
no
to have
problem,
you guys
dude.
on there.
We are very happy that you took the time out of your busy school schedule
I
and race
appreciate
schedule.
it.
So, well, tell your mom and dad that we said thank you as well. Thank your dad for teaching you all that stuff and going through all the stuff. And thank your mom for doing such a good job making sure that you're grounded. So that's really, really cool, dude. You're an awesome kid.
Make some burgers for them this week.
Yeah, I'll try.
Hey, with
you
the side
for
of macaroni
inspiring
and
us.
cheese, I kind of feel like macaroni and cheese right now, too.
My sister loves to cook, so
I
maybe.
can rock that.
Team up, man. Do it.
Yep.
Make a team out of it.
Yeah. So, though that's a question we didn't ask. So you have just a sister, or do you have any brothers, or just you two?
I have a sister.
How old is she?
She's 8. What did I forget?
Does she like going to the races and hanging out too?
Does she drive at all?
Yeah, she likes going to the race. She makes slime. At the races, she has like her little pit stop. She sells like lemonade. Like
entrepreneur, dude, killing it.
They are
These little kids, man.
It's called Remy's Pit Stop. It's like all.
Dope.
She sells coffee. She sells all of it. So like. That's
She
like
makes
the hot
all that?
spot right now. She makes so much money. I'm like,
That's crazy.
I feel like jealous. I'm like, what?
She comes home
She's
with all
out
this
there making
cash.
bank, and he's all,
The
yeah, I
cars,
cleaned the
too,
car.
'cause she does it right in front of the car, so I think that's more attractive too.
Nice.
So I think that
Nice.
helps.
Dude, that's literally like their family and like the brother and sister team is the epitome of the dirt life right there.
It
They
is
got
right
it
there.
locked down.
That is so cool. Well, keep doing
She
what you
makes
guys are
money,
doing.
I spend it.
Well, she's having fun, and I'm sure she doesn't mind supporting you in all your goals too. So
Yeah, she rides horses. She was gonna race, but she's not yet. She's not ready for the pressure yet.
Well,
'Cause
listen, since you're
Because like I'm
supporting
on
her,
a higher level than her. I'm a higher level than her, and she doesn't like at first I was like I was like fine, just go have fun and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like I'm still having fun, but like I need to get up on the top of the box. Like she's not ready for that pressure yet. She gets scared on the starts.
yeah,
But one time she rode with Shelby Anderson, and they did like a little dirt series, and they had fun.
oh,
But
that's cool.
The car had issues at the time, so they were like barely making it up the hill. I just love watching that. That was probably my favorite part of that.
I love watching them try to get up the hill. Just make sure you support her entrepreneurship by sending everybody down to her coffee stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. Yeah,
Wow.
she has her lemonade. So good.
There you go.
See,
She'll make it at the house. It'll be gone.
I think we gotta be careful on the guests that we interview because like now we're getting into like everything. Maybe we should just start a food podcast. Because now we got delicious lemonade, we got tacos, we got hamburgers. Like, how far is this
Macaroni
gonna
and
go before I'm just like making a cooking show here?
It could be a side hustle.
Yeah, dude, yeah, perfect. We could hire her
There you go.
for the side hustle. Well, I think you're doing fantastic, dude. And mad props
Thank
to
you.
Mad props to you, your sister, and your whole family for doing so well.
Thank you.
Well, do you want to say anything else before we let you go, bud?
Everyone just have a good night.
All right, you too,
All right,
dude.
guys.
Make sure you tell your family hi, okay?
Alright, yeah, my mom's right here.
Hey!
We'll see you later. Bye, Sarah. We'll see you later,
She's
Kaden.
right here watching it on the computer.
Oh, cool. All right, guys. Well, have a great night,
Stay
okay?
safe, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah,
we'll
Thank
see you later.
Bye.
Awesome.
He's super
Man,
cute.
that's awesome.
Oh my gosh.
How much does that just get you pumped up?
You okay over here?
Inspiring. Like I'm all, oh my God, I have all the ideas. Like they're inspiring. You guys are all inspiring. So pretty amazing.
And you're sending one of these, huh?
Yes.
Ooh,
I feel
boy.
like, honestly, I feel like this is just one more tool he needs in his tool belt. And it's
awesome.
just one more thing that's going to help him. I hope that, it helps him get to the next level. But
That's awesome.
it sounds like no matter what, he's going to get there.
Well, you want to get up there and see if we can. I kind of been going through them a little bit to find one of the most comments.
Clever comments.
Let's see it. Let's
I don't
see
know.
what
There's
you
a
got.
lot.
There
We're gonna have
is
to
a lot.
scroll back.
There is
We're gonna
definitely
have
a
to-
lot.
I can get out there and scroll for us, but
Okay.
I do want to say a couple things about Kaden before we give away the off-road repair kit. It really hits home for me, like being able to interview such a goal-oriented kid, and as you can see clearly with his mom sitting there, they have a very, very good family, and to have that kind of atmosphere around a kid to be able to focus on racing is just like he's going to have such a better upbringing than a kid that's looking at an iPad.
Dude, awesome.
Yeah, the whole family.
Awesome.
Clearly, the whole family's engaged in it. It's
Absolutely.
It's a family endeavor, and they're all doing it together. And I have to say, I think it's admirable that, obviously he's got drive. You don't feel like, this is something he's being pushed into. He wants to do it. He knows the lingo. He's out there hustling.
Yep.
It's admirable.
But if there's ever a change in life for him, his sister, his mom, or anybody, he's going to be able to adapt to those changes very quickly because he's learning how to do all that right now.
How many 11-year-olds can you say are out there already with a, you asked him, what's your 2020 goal? What's your 10-year goal?
Yeah.
He has them. Like
Yep.
he knows what he's working towards. It's inspiring.
It's so cool. And I just want to go watch him race now. I kind of feel like we could go help him too.
It'd be fun.
So
It'd be fun.
you can try to go find him at Camp Raiders.
I'm gonna try snagging up I'm gonna try to get some pictures with him and stuff and see if I can meet up over there.
You know what we should do? We should do like one of those things, like print out a bunch of pictures of him and his razor, and then just be like, "Have you seen this kid? Have you seen this kid? Have you seen this kid?"
Go find him. We'll give you a free shirt.
You could do I've just had a whole social media campaign.
If you find him, you take a picture.
Yeah.
You will give you a shirt.
I feel like we would get phone calls.
Yeah. So
like, did you do a missing kid campaign? Social media thing?
Yeah, but he's not really missing. He's just faster than you.
Yeah.
So he's gonna go out and beat you guys, and you got to catch up to him.
We meant missing. What we meant was fast.
He's just gonna go out there and wax everybody in his 570 in the dunes. That's cool though, and he knew all that stuff about the length of the axles. He knew how to repair the car. Mm-hmm. I mean, those things are just really, really valuable. And whether he works on another motor or not for the rest of his life or another razor, it doesn't matter. He's gonna be able to fix. Yep. He breaks down on the side of the road with his wife in 10 years, 20 years. He's going to be able to fix the car and get her back to safety. Yep. Like, it's so cool to see that dirt life come to fruition.
So tell me you were saying about you built a transmission, you had to customize the transmission, and just because you felt like, because you knew cars, you knew vehicles so well, but you also studied computers and you studied math, you were able to, without an engineering degree, build this.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
It's pretty cool, yeah. And it really, I didn't even use, math as in algebra or calculus or anything. Uh-huh. I really did the bare bones because I'm not that smart of I could be an engineer if I studied it,
right.
But I just winged it. Mm. I just did what Kaden's learning. Mm. I didn't have any idea how to do it. I just knew what I thought was right.
Well, I remember that. I came over there. You had the YXZ. You got the one, and then you took it out riding, and you could still drive it.
Right.
It was hard for you. But you came back, and you're like, dude, I'm going to make this work. And the next day I went over to your house, you had this hand control with the ASV lever, and I'm like, what the heck is that?
I just cut up a bunch of shit in the garage.
I was like,
amazing.
What the hell?
Yeah, I would have used a bottle cap if I had to.
That's crazy.
I was like, you just ran that up, and he's like,
I had some old dirt bike handlebars laying around. I just cut them, and then I put them over the stock shifter, and then I put a grip on it, and I moved a lever and routed all the hoses and stuff. Yeah. And I was like, this kind of works. And so I was like, it's pretty shitty, but I mean, it kind of works. It's super janky, but now I have my baseline and I can go forward with it. And so, fast forward to version 4 or 5 or whatever we have now, it's way better than stock.
Talk about nothing stopping you.
I've got to finally drive it, and I was like, wow, this is insane. This is really cool. It's comfortable. It wasn't, at first I'm sitting there feeling, I'm like, and you got to think about it because you're usually using your foot,
right.
And now it's in your right hand, but usually a clutch is usually your left hand. You kind of got to figure it out, and we picked it up pretty quick, and this guy, he just going, went all his videos, and I'm like, that's crazy looking.
It's just motivation,
yeah,
man.
I'm like,
I want to learn this. I'm going to do this.
Yeah,
it's amazing. So
it ended up working out pretty cool, and one of the coolest parts about it was that I got approached by a manufacturer, and we actually got a licensing deal.
That's awesome.
To sell it and stuff, yeah. So that was a pretty cool, kind of tooting my own horn, but it felt good to have that,
But at the same time, think about how many people you're helping that you may have been out of the game.
Yeah, that's true. And we were actually talking about this the other day. In fact, is maybe somebody can't, drive it. And we had a guest on the show last week. I think it was. His name's Matt Gerald, and he has very similar issues with his legs that I do. And so this past week, he actually received the package on Saturday. I sent him one of our shifters and the whole kit for his car.
Nice.
So
nice. Has he tried it out yet? Do you have any results
yet? He text messaged me today, and he's working on it.
Awesome.
So he's trying to get it fitted, and so he's going to have but the best part about it is, I mean, the whole engineering thing, right? He's going to try to do the same thing and fit it to his car.
Yeah.
The best thing that I got from it was, he goes, I think you're going to make up that half a second. I can get on the podium again.
And I've driven it with that, and I feel it.
Really?
It's awesome. It's so cool. We even talked about it like 2 years ago. I was like, maybe I want to do this just to have it because it'd be really cool. So
everybody that drives that car actually likes it too. So
really
cool. It takes a couple minutes to get used to.
It's amazing how quickly your brain can retrain itself too.
Yeah.
And for guys that race motocross and stuff, it helps too because you're always doing stuff with your fingers anyways, and on the clutch and things like that. But it was cool, and I think I actually talked about it on another show too. Is we went and did a little driving school up at Bondurant in Phoenix, and we took the UTVs up there and we did showcased it and showed how to drive, and the instructors ended up driving the car because they wanted to go drive the UTV because they hadn't driven a manual sequential shifting UTV. They have a Polaris that they were using, and they all got in it and they were like, this is way better than the foot clutch because you have other ways to concentrate, and they're used to driving with one hand. So it was cool to hear that from really professional drivers being able to give me that feedback too.
So what's pretty amazing about it is even though it was something you built because you actually, they say necessity is the mother of invention, but it's something that probably could even be like the next evolution or the next generation.
Yeah, you never know. I don't know if I would go that far because it's just a shifter, but it's definitely able to help people. Yeah. And little did I know that this little thing was going to help this one guy, and it just changes the way that people look at things. And the thing that I got the most from it was that I can make something out of nothing. So it was cool. And that first one that I made, it was so janky. I was like, how the hell am I going to make this thing better? So it gave me a lot of,
motivation,
forward thinking so I could get it done. Yeah, motivation to do it. All right, let me scroll through some of these comments so you guys can keep talking about Camp Razor when it's coming up.
Yeah. So tell me about Camp Razor.
So Camp Razor is
the more you sell it, the more likely it might be that I could able.
A lot of people you could tell. There's a lot of people that we hang out. They're like, we're not going. We're going the weekend before, the weekend after. The most thing that me and my wife really enjoy sitting at top of Oldsmobile late at night and watching people. Because there's so much going on, and as the night goes on, people get a little crazier, and it can be really bad. But
it's like
most of the time, it can get wild. Yeah, it can get wild, and it usually gets shut down really quick. If it gets out of control, I mean, there's usually rangers all around. I mean, they're all weekend long. They start out from a certain time. You'll see, like, there's sometimes we get there on a Tuesday, and we come home either on a Sunday or Monday, and pretty much the starting of that week, they all have their group, and you could tell when you're out riding, you're hanging out, and you see them all talking to each other, and they're planning the whole week because it can turn really fast. And there's bad things that can happen, and
I'm sure
it at the time though, I mean it can happen to anybody, any one of us, me, him, you, anybody. So, but they're pretty good with controlling it when it gets at it. When they know when they're in, that means it's really bad. When they saw it, there's times I'm sitting there.
They want you to have a good time. But
they want you to be
like,
safe.
Okay,
I mean,
this is going a bad direction.
It can get nasty real quick. So, I mean. The instant second of somebody, and the scary thing is there is so many people on this hill that I've seen it to where it's pretty much 2 lanes up.
Wow.
And the dune's huge. Oldsmobile Hill is huge.
So is this something that kind of started as like a grassroots kind of thing, like let's go hang out, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger until it became a thing?
I know. There's some groups that I'm a part of, and from like the 60s and 70s posting pictures of their 3-wheelers and like no helmets and short shorts and no shirt and just not even a doom flag. And now it's everybody is boots, riding gear, and California has the helmet law, so you have to have the helmet, and it's changed so much. Just in the I would say just in the last 10 years, it has completely changed. I mean, the first pretty much side-by-side that I remember was a golf cart.
So is it kind of just like, so tell me about it again. I don't know anything about this weekend. So recreational weekend? Are people actually like
it's Camp Razor, so you got Polaris comes out, sponsors the event. Shock Therapy is one of our sponsors. They're out there hanging out. I mean, there's hundreds of vendors that go out there. So you get up there, you get good deals. It's huge. It's very big. And
it's actually really good for photography and for content.
It sounds like a great idea. I really honestly think that having those photos and that opportunity to go there would be invaluable.
Well, I think Lance is going to get a call tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't look like I can get to all the comments there. And
I can scroll through them.
Well, there's too many of them, so I can't get to the clever ones. Oh. But I figured out a way we can do it. The person that commented the most was Dusty.
Okay.
So Dusty, hit Cody up in the DMs either on Facebook or Instagram, and we'll get your address and we'll send you one, bud.
Dusty Tierra.
So
congratulations, Dusty.
Yeah, got that off-road repair kit.
Nice.
So that'll be cool for him. And why don't you post some pictures, too, on social media showing what the off-road repair kit and stuff has in it. That'll be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, tag us at SolderWeld Racing and SolderWeld on Instagram or on at SolderWeld Racing on Facebook.
Yeah, and you can obviously get that through all of our social media, too. So, well, everybody that listened to the show tonight, I hope has a great time when they go to the dunes this season. I hope everybody stays safe. I hope everybody has their first aid kit on board at minimum, and helps out all of their friends that are in need, or maybe not friends, maybe just newbies that you see down in the...
Make new friends.
Yeah, exactly. And just has a good time, man. Go make some beer buddies out there and just have a good time. Pass by Kaden Danbury's pits, get a hamburger.
Yes.
I am. I'm going to bug him, man. Be like, dude, I'll even bring you the burgers.
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm here for the lemonade.
Yeah, exactly. I'm here for the lemonade, coffee, and hamburgers. We don't care about racing. We're just hungry. And thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you very much, Vanessa,
Thank
for
you
coming
guys both for having me. This was a pleasure. It was actually super enjoyable. I honestly had a great time.
That's cool. And really, thank you for showing us the off-road kit in a proper fashion. So that was really cool. I think everybody should obviously have one on their car. But, if you don't have one, maybe your buddy's got one and he can help you fix it too. Yep. So I would like to get Lance in the studio. So maybe at the end of October, we'll be able to talk to him.
Absolutely. You guys give me a date.
And we'll go to the dunes. It'll be Camp SolderWeld.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll do live demonstrations out there.
So I have to tell you all the time with Lance, I'm like, I have this great idea. He's like, listen, we need to talk about your great ideas because they're expensive.
Let's bring it back in a little bit here. But thank you to Lance for being such a supportive dude. He's been a really, really good dude for me. Not just a sponsor, just a good friend. He's given me advice all the time, helped out, everything. So I love the dude. Thank you to the guys at Fuel for, obviously helping the show. Those rims and stuff, you got to go look at those new ones, man. So go up to the Fuel Off-Road Instagram page and check all that stuff out. Shock Therapy, if you guys need any help with your suspension. Rigid Industries, Brighten Up the Night. And Zola Racing Products. I did that last time too. Zollinger Racing Products. They just make badass stuff, man. Like I said, it's crown jewels of radius rods and all that stuff. This stuff is really cool. So thank you to everybody for watching. You guys are so awesome.
Tonight, guys.
Thank you very, very much for being such an integral part of the dirt life. We love all of you. Till next week. Our guest next week, actually, before I say bye, our guest next week is going to be another motocross show. And this is going to be a heater. This is going to be really cool. We have my buddy Justin McMurch coming in the studio. He's bringing he did a project, CR500. He built 2 CR500s.
That's what I'm talking about.
They gave away one of the CR500s, and they gave all the money to Road Recovery and to the San Bernardino and Tucson fire departments.
Awesome.
He's a He's a fireman or EMT, and we're also going to have our special guest will be David Pingree from motocross fame. So it's going to be really cool.
Crazy.
We're going to talk to David Pingree about the CR500 that he got to ride with Justin, the project that they worked on together. Some of the stuff that Dave's been going on, and just again, like you said before, how they're giving back. Yeah. Everybody's a tight-knit community and giving back. This dirt life is killing it. Everybody's doing such a good job. Thank you, guys. We love you. We'll see you next week.
Make no mistake about it, we're glad you've wasted your time with us listening to another episode of the Dirt Life Show with George Hamill and Cody Sanders. This production has been approved, endorsed, and authorized by absolutely no one.